I didn't realize when I got yeah. Okay, which way you want to sit? Right. That's what we do. Right there, Willard. Got it? Yeah. You can set your walker right next to you. Hey, old man. Hey, how you doing? Doing good. Okay, now hold on. Got it. Yeah. Right back. Sorry. I got one. There's oh, I need an armchair. Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Natasha, to your left on the chair. Are there still 4 windows?
Yes.
Let me your glasses. You take them off. They're bright. You said yeah. Besides the two of you, there's 5. Me, Mary, Tony, Linda, and Tori. 577 iPhone. Linda and there's Lydia on here too. Oh, Lydia. I don't know how to say her last name. OLMST. I was like, I think that's not yeah. Am I anxious either? Yes, yes, I Henry. Yeah. What are we doing? He is. Got my right over here to your right. Yeah. Right, Erica. Right. Are they just regular grapes? They're grapes. I haven't seen grapes this small in forever. It's like the government never had a hold of them. You still out stuff. That's 2-5. Yeah, I did too. The problem with this view is like seeing stuff. No money, more.
way too long to watch anything.
It's an addiction, and I'm working to break it.
Ice cream? No.
I'm allergic to dairy. I grew up in Wisconsin, and I wasn't allergic to dairy until I left. So I joke that they took away my dairy. I get hot.
Can I have everybody's attention real quick? Hello?
Yes.
Everybody's attention real quick. If anybody wants, I got some raffle tickets here. If anybody's interested in buying them, for that Jeff came in last month. They're $10 a piece, 3 for $20, and the grand prize is $5 grand in cash.
And what is it for?
It's for the blind and visually impaired community of the earth. Good. It's a good. Jeff was here last month. God trying to recruit everybody. This is for the organization.
Oh.
I can't hear anything.
Neither can I.
The
I can't
sound
either, and I was just
stopped.
wondering what happened.
The sound stopped,
Yeah.
and the recording stopped as well.
Oh, okay.
Because recording on.
So it went dead silent.
You're
unmuted.
Is it
Now
unmuted?
we
Yes.
can hear.
Okay, now they can hear.
Do you want both of the computers?
It did.
Because you can hear both of them, and sometimes you like do the back to back. And it creates an
That's coming from the
echo.
internal
Is
speaker.
for them to hear the meeting through my headset. But when they speak, I put it on.
You're still unmuted?
Sorry.
Okay. We
The
are muted.
recording stopped.
Oh, no. And Murphy just.
Okay.
Is it going on?
Yes. Oh, yeah, right. Some. Say the.
They said that the recording stopped.
The recording stopped and the sound has stopped.
It is fixed now.
Recording in progress. Go ahead and click OK for that.
It is fixed now.
He is,
Oh, wow.
Did not put lotion on this one. I did not put lotion on my hands.
She was. That's not okay. She married a family. So she's got other people.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start. Okay, all right, I guess it's back over.
It's not working, is it? Okay, try not that. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, going again.
Batteries are running bad on
Yes.
Yeah, we got a thumbs up. Thank you.
All right, guys, the batteries are going dead. We gotta change it real quick.
It's okay, keep going.
Okay, testing again. Can those of you on Zoom hear us?
Yes.
They can, okay.
For
Yeah.
right now.
All right. So, okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. We are delighted to have you here. It's going to be a very fun morning. We have an interesting guest speaker.
Brad, your microphone isn't on.
It's probably dead.
It's on too, I guess.
There should be batteries in that bag.
Did you get batteries?
Yes.
I did.
We got them yesterday.
Yeah. All right. Sure, if they have it out.
Do they have it out?
I'm just gonna take it from you, just for a second.
Yeah, but my battery won't ever charge. No.
Testing, testing. This isn't working either. They need to change batteries on the code. It's Corinne,
Okay.
right? The other, your mom's got, this one's not working either.
Okay.
So we'll get the batteries going. I'm walking away
This is pretty big. I got 90. like any kind of group organization, HOA or anything like that, I just stand up and get it. Say, hey, anybody want to? Right. Because. There you go. Many organizations.
There you go, Brett.
Okay. All right, I think we are back in business now. Yay. Sorry about that. So we've had a lot of technical difficulties this morning, but we are not going to let that stop us. We are off and rolling. So I did want to say, we know that this has been a rough month for some of you with finding SSPs for this meeting. We apologize for that. It is a holiday weekend, so, but thank you to, I know a lot of us are sharing SSPs, so thank you to all of you for being willing to do that. Okay. So we have an interesting guest speaker today. We also have a fun game courtesy of our friends Kim and Robert. And we'll have some other announcements and things as well. I did want to ask, did Jeff, did you collect anything yet? Or are you? Okay. I did want to know if anyone needs to pay their dues.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna have Jeff go ahead and collect for that now, if that's okay.
You want to collect it at break?
Well, we have to collect trivia stuff at break.
I'm gonna pull this table a little bit closer to us because it's making a little, it'll make that gap a little wider.
And then Mary is sending over $5 for Elizabeth Brown. So Elizabeth. Okay, so you got that. Yep. All right, I'm stepping away from the money. Step away from the money.
You don't want money? Then something
Ready?
wrong.
That's not my money.
Well, we tried.
Yes, question.
This is Corinne.
Uh-huh.
While they're taking money, can I make announcements on who won the SASI board?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hi, you guys. This is Corinne. I just wanted to announce the winners for the SASI board, the Super Bowl board. Yes, the game was just poor, but we had winners anyway. Justin, here we go, because everybody's gonna want to get in your pocket. His daddy's jumping over there right now to get his money. Justin was the first one to win the first quarter for $15. Alicia Bricklemeyer, our SSP, won halftime for $30. Mary Hale won the third quarter for $15, and Kim Vaughn won the final score for $40. Kim just said, "Sports book, open up."
Yeah. There we go. Well, wait, you know what I did with the $100? I got it yet, but you want to do something else? I bought rest. Why not? What's my money?
For 3 tickets.
It would have been 1700. I would have won. Ended up being 2400.
Okay. It looks like everybody's finished paying.
Okay. It looks, okay, looks like everyone is good. Any last calls for dues this month? Because I believe April, if you haven't paid your dues yet, that's okay. You can do it by either check or cash or PayPal. I believe they need to be in, when is it for the next directory? April? Yeah, yeah. So you got a little time still, and we'll collect trivia items during the break, which some of you have handed to me already. So, all right. So before we go any further, we're going to go ahead and take attendance. So we'll pass the mic around. Just say your name.
Linda Taylor. Karen Peters. Rhonda Jones. Chris Wilhelm.
Yeah, Wilson.
Kathy Lennekamp. Christy Freeman. Dr. Trisha Miller, the guest speaker. Kim Ryan. Julia Biggs, SSP.
Brett Wilhelm.
Vishal Balaji.
Corinne Balaji's SSP. Ruth Tompkins, SSP.
Kenneth Tompkins.
Bob Jacob. That's his sexy voice. I wish he was like that all the time.
Give me a 1-800 number, my friend.
You better make it mine.
Andrea Silver, SSP.
Laura McHugh.
Tasha. Erica Walls.
Harry Castro.
Victoria Foster.
I should have said
Isaiah Shumate.
Brianna Hudson, student interviewer.
Michelle. Hi, and I'm on Zoom with Mary Hale and Tony Bruce and Linda Kinkler and Tori Ryder, Lydia Olmsted, and Ann Murphy. And William McSissick.
Robert Vaughn.
And Victoria Foster.
Yeah. If Robert's here, we're good. No, we're good.
Okay, that is, looks like that is everyone. Well, welcome everyone. Okay, so we are a little behind. We have a lot to get to, but we will do our best. I now want to introduce, I'll have her introduce herself, our guest speaker, who is Dr. Tricia Miller.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and I appreciate being invited here by Brett. I'm very excited to spend some time with you. I want to double check on what time I need to be finished so I can be mindful.
We're pretty flexible. We will want to just bear in mind, we will have we tend to have a lot of Q&A, so,
All right, that's great.
and we will probably have a break around 11.
Around 11, okay, perfect.
Right.
Okay, all right, I will try to be finished by 11. Okay, so today I'm here to talk about self-care. I have a PhD in psychology, and my dissertation many years ago was on self-nurturance. And I work for an agency that provides in-home care called Well Home, and we can talk about that at the end. But I go out into the community and I speak to people at senior apartments and organizations like this one on various topics, and one of them is self-care. So we are going to start with talking about what are the elements necessary for self-care.
We've got a communication issue. It's not coming through Zoom.
What, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Does that thing need to be pushed down? That box? Okay, now it's catching up.
Okay,
For some reason, it's behind. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, she's got it. You can.
should I continue or should I wait?
Give us just a second.
Sure.
Yes, perfect. Okay. We're good.
Okay, all right, continuing. So there are 3 different things that are necessary for effective self-care. The first one is motivation. And for today's talk, I'm going to use a metaphor of taking care of a plant. So let's say that someone that I care about gives me a plant that I think is gorgeous, and I want to keep that plant alive. Well, I'm not going to put it in the closet and come back in 3 weeks and be surprised at what happens. So I'm going to probably want to understand what kind of plant is this so that I can do the right things that this plant needs. So I might use an app that I have on my phone called Plant Parent and take a picture of it, what it tells me. Because if this plant is a cactus, it's going to need different care than if it's an African violet, right? So different plants need different kinds of care. Do I have any plant people in the room? Yes, okay. Some plant wannabe parents, okay. Okay, and so I'm going to do what this app says that recommends that I do, and then I'm going to pay attention to the plant, right? I'm going to see, is it kind of getting wilty? Is it turning yellow or brown? Is it flourishing? And depending on what's going on, I'm going to make adjustments in how I'm taking care of this plant. I might move it to a different window or adjust how much I'm watering it. So those elements are the same when we take care of ourselves. We need to understand what we're taking care of. Okay, so we're going to talk about the why, and we're going to talk about what are we taking care of, how do we do that, and what are the results. So let's start with talking about the why. What are our motivations for taking care of ourselves? Is there anybody here who can share with me or us what would be your motivation for taking care of yourself? Yes. Go ahead. Is anybody?
Well, I'm Rhonda Jones, and my motivation for taking care of myself is that I have a husband to take care of, and in order to take care of him, I have to take care of me, because I can't give away what I don't have.
Excellent. That's a very good point because taking care of ourselves helps us to have what we need to take care of others.
Hi, it's Kathy Manningham. My motivation is to stay strong as much as I can and independent as much as I can because I don't have that backup. Someone to take care of me.
Okay.
And seeing my parents, my dad's 95, my mom's 90, and they were always pretty active up to now, to the late 90s. So I have a long life ahead of me, so I know I have to keep working out and stay in shape and watch what I eat.
Okay, so those are all very good points. Anybody else have anything to share about why you might want to do a good job of taking care of yourself? So, taking care of ourselves, the why is to live longer. And when I say live, I don't mean survive. I mean live. So what live means to you and what live means to someone else might be a little bit different. But to really live, to thrive. And that is a major reason for taking care of ourselves is to thrive, to have a quality of life that we want. And then this last one that I'm going to mention is a little bit different, to improve our relationship with ourselves. Now, does anybody have any idea what I might be referring to when I say that when we take care of ourselves, we improve our relationship with ourselves? What does that mean? Anybody have any idea?
Yeah, I think you're talking about, from my perspective, is that you're trying to keep a good attitude about yourself and not put too much pressure on yourself to do things a certain way and forgiving yourself. Don't do something correctly.
Right, exactly. So when we take care of ourselves, yes, we have one more. Yeah. Okay.
Remember to introduce yourselves.
That was Jeff. Okay, so Jeff brought up a very good explanation of this, which is that when we're kind to ourselves, when we take care of ourselves, it helps us emotionally and it helps us to stay motivated to continue to take care of ourselves. But when we're unkind to ourselves, when we are hard on ourselves, when we speak negatively or disrespectfully to ourselves, then it has a negative effect on us emotionally and decreases our motivation for taking care of ourselves. So we can have a snowball rolling down a hill on either a negative or a positive direction. So let's talk about the what. So we talked about why. Let's talk about what. What are we taking care of when we take care of ourselves? Remember the plant metaphor? What does a plant need? What are the things that a plant needs, plant people? Can you help me out? Water, sun, food, or right, not too much sun. And maybe some air, good soil, some plant food, and some TLC. Maybe talking nicely to the plant helps, right? So there are some fertilizer. So there are different needs that this plant has, not just one, several different needs. So when it comes to taking care of ourselves, we have several different needs. Let's start by talking about what are our physical needs. Anybody? What are our physical needs? Food. Hi, Kathy Manningham. Sleep. Sleep. Walking out, being out in the sun. Sunshine, walking outside. Music. Music. And conversation. Conversation. Okay. Anybody else? What are our physical needs?
This is Rhonda Jones again. We need to practice some type of positivity in our home, because if we're negative, it's going to bring everyone else in our house down. And our goal is to build up each other. And it's like a sinking ship. If you're always negative, that ship's gonna sink. But if you put a positive spin on it, it's, maybe it's gonna take you to a nice vacation somewhere.
Right, exactly. I think Kim had something, did you want to say? Yeah. Here's the- right here.
Hi, Kim. I'd say physical activity.
All right, so our physical needs include food. Now, good nutrition. If we're gonna take the time to eat, we want to make good choices about what we eat. Okay, we need a lot of protein. And the reason for that is because as we get older, our muscles actually start to deteriorate, which is not fair, in my opinion. I think that's really kind of stupid, but that's the case. And we need protein because protein is what our muscles are made out of. And guess what else is made out of protein? Our brains. So making sure that we have protein in our diet helps our muscles and our brains. So what kind of foods have protein in them? Just say it out loud.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter, meats, fish, eggs, nuts, cheese, beans, legumes, peas, cottage cheese, yogurt, chicken, yep, turkey, fish, right? So these are all good sources of protein. So making sure that you choose protein, if you're going to take the time to eat, make sure you're making choices that include protein, okay? So our physical needs also include shelter. We're in a nice warm shelter right now. We're in a lovely building that we're not getting rained on, or so we're not cold. So we appreciate our shelter. We want to take care of our shelter because it takes care of us. And we have physical needs for affection. We, we need somebody to give us a hug occasionally, right? Or pat us or hold our hand. So affection and touch is part of our physical needs, okay? One of our physical needs is oral health. Did you guys know that if you have a bacterial infection in your mouth, which you could have and not know it, that's connected to endocarditis? So taking care of our oral health is connected really to taking care of our heart. So we want to, brush our teeth basically. So these are our physical needs, okay? And exercise, remember, you don't have to climb a mountain to have exercise that counts, right? Just walking to the front door and back, just moving, getting out, move. And that helps our circulation, and it really helps us mentally as well. Now we're gonna go into our mental needs, and I'm gonna divide those by our thinking part of our mental functioning and our emotional. All right, so thinking. I don't know if this ever happens to anybody in this room besides myself, but I go into the kitchen and completely forget why I'm there. Does this happen to anybody else? I mean, I will be standing in the kitchen and my animals are staring at me like, what are you doing? Are you going to do something or are you just gonna stand there? So I don't know if that happens to anybody, but that's part of the thinking part of our brain is our memory, okay? So having some little strategies that we can use to help us with our memory, and I'll tell you the strategy I used for the kitchen situation, is that if I'm in the living room and I'm gonna go into the kitchen to get something, I'll say it in my head over and over and over. So by the time I get to the kitchen towel, kitchen towel, kitchen towel, kitchen towel, I know why I'm there. So I have that little strategy. Does anybody have any strategies you use for memory? So as we exercise our brain, it does help with memory. So crossword puzzles are an excellent way to exercise our brain, which even though doing the puzzle isn't necessarily memory, it could be a word search or something like that. it still is exercising our brain, which helps the brain work for other things like memory. Doing a puzzle or, go ahead. The factoring the multiplication in your head, no? Yes, doing any kind like Sudoku or practicing multiplication. Yes, those. Yes, in your mind instead of on a calculator, yes. Yes, so that we actually did learn how to multiply and divide at one point. We did. It is true. That's true without our cell phones. At one time, we knew how to do that. Okay, so anything that we can do to exercise our brains. So learning something new. What about if we learn how to crochet or knit, or we learn a new language, or we practice a language that we already know? These are all things that exercise our brain and help us make sure that we're not losing gray matter basically in our brain. We want to use it or lose it kind of thing. So you would. What was that? Cooking. Okay, so cooking is actually good for your brain because you got to keep track of what you're doing. You got to pay attention. So you bring up a very, very good point. Attention and concentration has everything to do with memory. If you pay attention and concentrate to a conversation, for example, then you will actually remember things in that conversation much better than if you are distracted during the conversation. So attention and concentration, like you need for cooking, is a good skill to practice in general because it's good, helps our memory. Okay. Word association, yes, I use that in school a lot. So word association, that can help you remember somebody's name. So if you meet somebody new and you get to know them, and they tell you that their favorite food is apples, you can associate the word apple with their name.
So, something I used to have a fairly decent amount of vision to where I was able to read print at one time. So, for me to like remember the numbers, I try to remember what it looks like on the page, like if somebody's phone number or something like that. I'll try to picture it. Like, for some reason, even though I'm listening to it, I was always good at like remembering where something was visually. So I kind of still try to do that.
That's excellent. That's very good. I appreciate you bringing that up. That was Jeff. Okay. All right. So we talked about the thinking part of our brain. Let's talk about the emotional part of our brain. What do we need to do to take care of ourselves emotionally? Our feelings. Yes. What do we do to take care of our feelings? Get enough sleep. Oh my gosh, that's such a good one. Get enough sleep. Have you ever not gotten enough sleep and and then you were like irritable and cranky and emotional, like falling apart?
It's Rhonda Jones, and yes, I have a sleep disorder, so I have that problem. But my husband he focuses on negativity a lot. So we started playing a little game. You can't tell me something negative and not give me a positive. So for every negative thing you tell me about yourself or about your day, you need to tell me 2 or 3 positive things. How can we turn this around? How can we make this happy?
Okay, so that's really a great strategy. It really is, because negativity can be a habit and it can bring everybody else down. However, let me say this too, is that sometimes if something stressful or upsetting has happened, we need to vent, right? Sometimes we need to share with people that we're close to. We need to share with them that we're feeling sad or disappointed. And that's okay to do for a little while.
And another option is the journal, if you don't have anyone else. Oh, this is Kathy Manigan, you can journal, if you cannot have anyone to talk to.
So journaling is
Journaling.
journaling is an excellent way to take care of ourselves emotionally. It's very good because it really is just dumping things on a page so that we don't have to keep obsessing about it. So now, because I'm trying to be careful about time, I'm going to move forward. We could talk like half a day on each of these. Okay, first, now we're going to talk about our social needs. So we have physical needs we've talked about, mental needs, social needs. So today, you guys are here. This is meeting and nurturing your need for social connection. Social connection is so powerful. After months of going and giving this presentation, a lot of times in senior living settings, what I have learned is that everybody's opinion is that their social connections are the most important and most powerful aspect of their self-care regarding their well-being. It's more important than anything else. It's what gets them through the most difficult times. It's what keeps them taking care of themselves. So their social connections, if it's one person, if it's 5 people, is critical to their well-being. So you guys being here today, this is nurturing your social needs. And so I applaud you for being here. It takes effort. It takes effort to be here. It takes effort to connect with the people that you have in your lives that you can connect to. And it's worth it. It's worth the effort because the payoff is great. Okay? Now, saying that, I want to say that some social connections are not healthy. And sometimes we have to make difficult decisions to maybe reduce our contact with certain people because we find that that's not nurturing us. It's actually leading us to feel bad. And so we might have to make some hard decisions, okay? So our social needs are really important for our emotional and our thinking and our physical well-being, okay? I'm going to move forward now with spiritual needs. So, you know, there are how many different kinds of cars?
Many.
A lot of different kinds of cars. And if they're running, no, they have gases.
Sorry.
What do cars have to do with spiritual needs? Exactly.
It seems like the Wi-Fi is not stable.
Which one is she connected to?
Are you on the guest or the?
I'm on the guest, so.
We have a solid connection on the other.
Can you pass that password to her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that before. Just.
While they're fixing that, this is Corinne, while they're fixing that, can we just, back to emotions? How about some positive self-talk?
Right.
Yeah.
So being kind to ourselves
Yeah.
means to recognize our effort, not necessarily how great we did this or that. It's our effort.
So we may do that when she finishes her.
There you go.
Okay, so what I think we're gonna do, since we are having tech difficulties and things right now, why don't we go ahead and take our break now? We can resume, and Trisha, we will resume with you at the end of the break. It'll be about a 10 to 15 minute break. And before we go to break, as a reminder, we still have a ton of tickets available for trivia night. So if you're planning to go, we hope you'll get your payments in soon. As a reminder, first week of March, the price goes up. So it'll go from $20 a ticket to $25. So
What's the menu?
The menu is whatever you want to. Well, actually, okay. So We have chips, a ton of chips and a ton of soda.
Can you do this after? Because otherwise, the people on Zoom are not gonna have access to this.
Okay. Actually, I'll come back to this when we get done. I just realized because our Zoom people, aren't they hearing it on my system? Oh, so our Zoom people are not getting access to anything we're saying. So we'll take a break and I'll come back to this later. If you want to pay for either a ticket or pick a number though during the break, you can.
So you want back here at noon?
15 minutes from now. Set a 15-minute timer.
Okay. Do you need to run to the restroom?
Yes.
Okay. I think Kim needs to go as well.
Sorry?
I think Kim needs to go as well.
Okay, are you taking both of us or one at a time?
No, we can both go.
Okay.
What was that, Kim? Oh, I just need. He needs to run to the restroom. Do you need to run to the restroom? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, Brett.
Okay.
Sharon. And then just take a big step over that cord. Great. Okay, keep going. Kim, there's a cord there. Oh, no problem. You're just gonna step over it. And your other foot is caught. Oh, I stepped on it. It's okay. It's okay. There you go. There we go. I had to do a little jig. Yep. Justin, you want to use the restroom?
They said no to her because you don't want to give a treat. They're fire. And that's really their fire.
Okay.
Andrew?
Sorry for the delay, Zoom people. We are reconnected. We are taking a break at the moment because we had just because we had basically a lousy Wi-Fi connection here. We have fixed the situation and we'll be back in a few minutes with the regular meeting.
You at least gotta get a hold of Joe.
You'll need to undo the video when you're ready to come back.
It is. It goes down there like 200. Yeah.
I'll get it for you, Rhonda.
It all comes up to $1,000, so whatever.
I much prefer interpreting. When that's my only job is to interpret.
Do you want me to mute this? I remember the last time you were talking and you were like, yeah, I didn't know they could hear me.
Oops. Both of you let go of the English. Same as last time, let go of the English. To let go of, like, you're like following word for word. Let it go. You're doing a good job of getting like, okay, what am I saying? But then you're still getting stuck on like leading us to, it leads us to make a decision. So instead of saying like leading us or leading us, it's causing us to make a decision. Like, and the way you can practice that game Taboo, it helps you get to thinking outside the box. When you hear things, think about how else that same thing could be said. Because remember, it's not about the specific word choices, it's about the concept.
Yes, I guess for example, when I said I guess I could have just signed as sorry on the words and said sorry. Well, for example.
Yeah. Work on slowing down your finger spelling. I think you're trying to do it too fast. And so your hand winds up going faster than your brain, right? So you're finger spelling quickly, but it's to be fair, it's duck finger spelling. You're doing a great job with duck finger spelling. But don't be afraid to slow it down and be
Yeah, I guess my reasoning is so I don't get too
right. And that is hard. So like when we were introducing everybody with the names, you did a great job of this first name, this last name, this first name, this last name. That was perfect.
Thank you.
That was that like, and if they need more information, then that they can ask. Right. To be fair, I don't know how to spell most everybody's last name either. So even if I need to spell it, I have to ask how to spell it, you know?
Right.
And in a situation like this, that wouldn't be like what you would do. So just giving the last initial. All the details, that would be spelling the whole name exactly perfectly. And then there's I'm giving you the first name with the last initial. That will serve you really well. Like if you end up doing spring graduations and stuff where they're giving name after name after name, and there's hardly enough time, and you will go home and you will you know. In those situations, if you happen to know the deaf people in the audience, who are they looking for? Like if you get to meet with them beforehand, who are you specifically looking for? And then spell that whole name. You know what I mean?
I know.
So introduce is like, well, introduce. So like if you're introducing two separate people, introducing them to each other, or like I'm introducing you, senior citizens, as opposed to.
I was like, it's somewhere up here, but I don't remember.
Metaphor. That was a good one to get stuck on.
Yeah,
Because that one even, I think what I would use as an example. Because a metaphor is an example. Right.
Yeah. I was like, I don't see the thing is whenever I'm still working on trying to figure out
Kim,
not
right here,
necessarily what is important,
lift your
but
feet right now. Lift that foot, lift that foot. You got a backpack on your left-hand side.
and like
And
is the word metaphor.
keep going to the left, to the left.
So that's where knowing your audience comes in.
Yeah, and that's what I was like, I don't really know.
So if you're in the hot seat with a PhD presenter.
Yeah, that's what I was like, okay.
Like
well,
this is no small undertaking that you are doing today. Right? And you're doing good. So
I'm running on very low sleep. I was like, this is probably really bad. Wait, metaphor, you said example.
Metaphor, example. I would use example in this situation. Now, if you were in a college English class and they needed to know the word metaphor, I'm going to spell metaphor.
All right.
So knowing your audience is so in this situation, it's like, what's the gist of it? They want to understand what's the point. They're not going to care about the word metaphor, but they are going to care about, oh, example is like a plant. How do you care for a plant? Right. And actually that made me think of calculate, like mathematical calculations versus take care of versus care for. There is actually a guy, I think he's on either YouTube or TikTok, that he's deaf and he takes all of those signs, like
summer,
ugly,
black,
like
dirty,
other
yeah.
summer cereal, like
Yeah.
and or like he takes groups of signs and then he turns it into humor. Right. So he like teaches the difference. And that would be one of those things where like figure, calculate, take care of, and or babysit, and then take care of, over time. And then he would turn it into some weird sentence like how do you calculate how much it would cost to take care of somebody? And turns it into this whole thing. So, and really the only differences in those kind of situations is movement. And he's emphasizing those aspects of linguistics. I will try and find him and send the link to you guys so you have that. It's entertaining. They're a couple minutes long, but he's an entertaining presenter that like makes good use of like how movements change meaning and like linguistics, linguistically speaking. So
Okay. One thing I'm like, I'm a little confused. The how, what, and what. Okay. Physical needs, social needs, mental needs.
he did social, physical, emotional, and spiritual. So there.
Okay. And then, how would you do spiritual?
Spiritual.
Okay, I started with that.
Yep.
And then I was like, I don't think this is right. So then I finger spelled
So I
spiritual.
use the middle. This works, but I'd have to look up why. That's one of those things I would have to chat with my difference to find out why I do it this way instead of this way.
That and relationship.
Relationship. Like you and I have a relationship. He and I have a relationship. I have a relationship with my 3 kids. All of us have a relationship because we all have a relationship.
Spiritual needs take care of. Is there another word for needs? Look,
So use it in a sentence, right? Because as always in this world, it depends.
she's like your spiritual needs, your emotional needs.
So needs are needs. Like I would have a tendency to be situations presenting. And I don't have a reason other than something sits better with this like requirements versus need. Like I need to have this, I need to do
This
that.
feels like more of a chore, like I need to do this.
And that X gives it that negative connotation to when you think about
to go outside.
Yeah, that little hook in ASL across the board tends to have negative connotation to it. Devil, when you think of like your little bookworm things, right? It's that little motion that shape tends to have a negative connotation. So when you I think I need to do that, I gotta do that. It's like, oh, I gotta right? It's more active versus your body. It requires oxygen to function. It requires. So that would be kind of my go-to. I'm sure we'll talk to other interpreters. You can get some other suggestions as well. Because there's always more than one way to say something, right?
Yeah, and then I find it so funny that we mentioned this before we started this meeting, and then it's like popping up role switching. I'm like having a hard time. I'm like, do I place her on one side and then everyone else on the other?
That's a good question because you're in a room and you can see where everybody is.
Yeah,
So what do you think we should do?
I think it would be easier to place her in one spot and then just like
How much do they sell their eggs for?
it slips my mind to be like woman speaking, man speaking. I do try to finger spell like, oh, this is Jeff talking.
Right.
And then I go if they say their name.
They should be like that's my pet peeve is that they forget and they let it go. How much do I know? How much do I say? Introduce yourself. How much do I know? Because I feel like a bitch when I do it. I feel like
I'm like, I know who Jeff is and I know who
Right.
Ron is.
Right.
And I know who Kim is.
Right. But for the people who don't have the best hearing, it really is important that they say their name. That's why it's a pet peeve for me that they're not. But again,
And they stop when the sun.
where's my I'm dealing with technology. Interpreting, how much do I Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah, like,
Who are you?
like I could be like, this woman is very cool.
Right.
All I know is her name starts with W, but I don't really remember it.
You know what? I'm gonna assign somebody. Karen, would you remind people to say their names before they speak? Because I don't want to be.
Trisha, he's
Who are you?
Marcia used
Who are
to do
you?
that.
Yes.
That's Marcia's job.
It's an important job.
Uh-huh, it is.
I just have.
Especially with that. Yeah, but I think some people know their voice.
Do you need it for a minute or for the meeting?
That's Christmas party.
Any other questions? Did you have any?
Yeah. Yeah, what if
You want to go fill your water first and then ask, or
I can ask now. What if what if you're interpreting and you don't understand what the person is saying?
if it's a situation where I can ask for clarification, I will always ask for clarification.
They killed another.
I don't have a problem interrupting and in like a situation like this, if she were speaking and I didn't hear something and say, excuse me, could you say that again? Or excuse me, could you? If I don't understand what something means, excuse me, could you tell me
All
what
right,
that means?
so that
That kind of thing.
break time is up. So if you can please go ahead and take your seats, we will get started.
This is good, adjusted. Okay, I can do till 11:10, and then that's like
Hello, welcome back, everybody.
and then you can take over.
All right, so in review, we have gone over the various needs that we will be paying attention to as we take care of ourselves. We talked about our physical needs, our mental needs. And we talked about our social needs. And we had just started talking about our spiritual needs. And I said, how many different kinds of cars are there? And somebody said, what do cars have to do with spiritual needs? There are a lot of different kinds of cars. And if the car has gas in it and it's running, no flat tires, then it will get you where you're going. There are so many different ways that people meet and attend to their spiritual needs. So many different ways. None of them are the right or the wrong way. They're just that person's unique way of meeting their spiritual needs. It can be religion. It can be something else. It doesn't have to be religion. There are so many different ways. So some people pray. Some people will go to church. Some people will read or listen to affirmations. Some people spend time in nature. For me, what nurtures me spiritually is nature. And I think it's because when I'm in nature, everything makes sense and I get perspective, right? That there's some bigger things happening besides just me, and whatever it is that I'm thinking or worrying about is just a small part of something much bigger. And nature has its way. It all makes sense. Things, yes, we are nature too. And so if nature has its way of how it works and we're part of that, it's reassuring, it's comforting, right? That it all makes sense and that it's all going to be okay. So there's something very comforting about nature for me personally.
Guys, there's too much talking going on.
Meditation. So, there's also a lot of different ways to meditate. It's just about really relaxing our minds. Doesn't mean we have to have a blank mind. We could be just in the shower and not thinking about anything really. We're just disconnecting from our worries and our thoughts. That worries that's time traveling, right? So if you're worrying, it's about the past or the future, right? You're worrying about something that happened oh, it's already happened. You're worried, oh, did I hurt that person's feelings? Or did I forget to do something? Or did I do something wrong? Right? That's about the past. It's gone. It's gone. And if we're worrying about something that might happen in the future, that hasn't come yet. All right. And we do need to think about the future, the past. I'm not suggesting that we don't. However, we need to remember that all we really have control over is what's going on right now. Okay. And so if we pay attention to what's going on right now, especially with gratitude, right? Then it's remarkable how things in the past and in the future are going to actually be better when we pay attention to what's happening in today with gratitude. And gratitude meets our spiritual needs too in a very significant way. So I'm going to share what I'm feeling grateful for right now. And if anybody else wants to, they can. If you don't, that's okay. I'm feeling very, very grateful that Brett invited me today and that I have the opportunity to be here with you guys. It really is a privilege to be here. I'm grateful that I had a car to get me here that had gas in it, was running, no flat tires. And I'm grateful that later this afternoon, I'm going to spend time with a good friend, and she's going through some things with her mom. And I'm looking forward to doing some creative things with her. So creativity, we didn't mention this, but creativity is very good for us emotionally, and it's good for our brain. So we're going to do social connection, my friend and I. I'm sure we're going to hug when I see her. So that's going to meet my physical needs, my mental needs, my social needs, and my spiritual needs, just by hanging out with my good friend this afternoon. So I'm grateful for that. So I'm putting that on my list of the 3 things I feel grateful for right now. Anybody else want to share something that you feel grateful for?
This is Victoria Foster. I'm glad the weather was not as bad as it said it was going to be.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that
happy to be here.
helped us get here and be here together, for sure. Anything else anybody wants to share about what you feel grateful for?
This is Rhonda Jones. I am grateful for all of our SSPs and for their willingness to help, because it makes me feel more independent. And I'm grateful for my husband and the home that we live in now. I'm so glad to see all of you today.
This is Christine, and I'm thankful for my first grandbaby that's going to be born soon.
Exciting. Anyone else want to share what you're feeling grateful for?
Grateful that we're all healthy. This is Chris.
Chris said we're grateful that we're all healthy. This is Michelle. I am grateful that I have friends like you to share gratitude with.
Friends, health, family. These are things that are available to us to pay attention to bring us into today with gratitude. And they're available, they're there for us to focus on. So when we're focusing on the past or the future with worry, with anxiety, regret, guilt, any of those kinds of feelings, we can refocus on what we feel grateful for right now and today, such as family, friends, and health, right? All right, so we have talked, yes?
I am grateful for all the friends that I met through this group. They taught me to a lot.
Kathy Redigan. So
Yeah, I gotta say, I would grateful to have SSP helping me with this treasury stuff, because otherwise I'd be very anxious, so, thank you.
Yes.
So SSPs need to take care of themselves, right? It's very important. We want our SSPs to take good care of themselves. Yes, we do. All right, we've talked about how to take care, we talked about what to take care of in our self-care. We talked about why, what, and how. We actually have covered a lot of the how. I want to talk about the fact that there are barriers and challenges to our self-care, and I want us to get real about that, okay? Because it's lovely to talk about self-care and have all these great ideas, but let's get real. There are some challenges to self-care, okay? Hi, Robert. Kim's right here. Okay, so does anybody want to just, before I jump into it, anybody want to say what your challenge, one of your challenges, we all have more than one. What is your challenge for self-care?
This is Rhonda Jones again. I don't mean to run the show, but one of my challenges, because I'm losing hearing and we don't know how far down it's gonna go, is I have to remember that fear can be one of two things. It can be false evidence appearing real, or it can be something that you can control, maybe through your spiritual means. For me, it would be prayer, and maybe my church family and my family here at SASI, because you all understand how it is when your hearing goes down. And so that's my biggest fear, is that I'll lose all of my hearing. And being totally blind too, I don't know how they do it. I don't know if I could do it, but I'm able to.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And there are people in this room that can relate. We all have a fear or two or three. We all have fear. And you had mentioned that you can cope with your fear sometimes with prayer. And I'm going to suggest that we often fear things, especially in the future, because we don't have confidence in ourselves to be able to cope with it. So I want to tell you that you have coped with things in your life that you previously didn't think you could. Is that true? Have you coped with things in your life that you previously thought you could not? Yes, that's true for all of us. So remember that when you're feeling afraid is okay. Remember when you're feeling afraid to remind yourself, talk to yourself. We're talking to ourselves almost all the time. So let's make sure that what we say is helpful and not toxic. Really, I'm just going to say that. So remember to remind yourself, hey, I've taken care of things and dealt with things that I didn't think I could. I have done that. I'm much more capable than I'm probably giving myself credit for. You had something that you wanted to share?
Hi, this is Michelle. I had a friend recently remind me that I have made it through 100% of my worst days ever.
I love that.
So I've got a pretty awesome track record, and you all do too.
I just really love that phrase. Do you mind repeating that one more time?
We've made it through 100% of all of our worst days successfully.
That is awesome. It's true. It's so true. And just think about what you accumulate when you
go through your worst days, you gain experience with coping, what works, what doesn't work. And so you get wiser. Every time you have a bad day, you just say, hey, I'm getting wiser. Yeah, we don't always remember to do that when we're having a bad day.
You get more tired.
We get more tired.
This is Rhonda Jones one more time. The other acronym for fear is face everything and recover. So I always tell myself every day, I'm going to face my day, get through my difficulties, and work my way through it to recovery. I was in Celebrate Recovery, so that's what I just speak on fear, and that's where I was at.
I really like that. I really face everything and recover. So we have done that many times. We have faced something very difficult and we overcame it. That's our resilience. We're much more capable and more resilient than we give ourselves credit. Okay, so there are barriers to self-care. If you're having a day where you're just not motivated for self-care, that happens, right? You can give yourself permission to have one day off. And that's that. That's it. And you get back on track and take care of yourself. And by take care of yourself, I mean do one thing, one act of self-care. So you can have one day off, but not more than one day. And the reason I say that is because it's a slippery slope. If we don't take care of ourselves, then we feel worse and less likely to take care of ourselves. And we can get very depressed. We cannot feel well physically, emotionally. We can withdraw socially. So it's a slippery slope. So you can only have one day off. You can't take more than one day off. In fact, I would recommend you try to have it be half a day off. Okay. So we have those days. That's another challenge. Another challenge for our self-care is depression. Okay. So if a person is experiencing depression, they're not motivated to do anything. They don't really feel like eating or even moving or interacting with others. And these are all things that we need in our self-care. When we're depressed, we don't want to do those things. So we need to address that depression. How do we address depression? Anybody?
Put yourself in a happier place.
You kind of, like for me,
Who's speaking?
Oh, sorry, thank you. This is Jeff. I get depressed sometimes, and I don't even realize it. But I do talk to someone about it, and you know, they tell me, hey, you know, whatever you used to do as a routine, pick that one thing up and do it. Like I don't like cooking, and I can talk myself out of it easily. But then, you know, I kind of just again to make lunch today, or maybe I'm gonna make supper tonight, something. Certainly get you back into a positive routine.
This is Kathy Minigan. Couple of things. One would be call a friend. Get out and walk, exercise, and play your favorite music that makes you dance.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So engaging in cooking was Jeff's suggestion. That's something that can be helpful for him. Kathy had a lot of good suggestions there. Music can be a very powerful thing, an antidepressant for us. I personally think chocolate is a bit. My animals are really good for me emotionally. I have one elderly dog and 3 cats. Yes, and so there is some competition for my lap when I sit down. My animals are a great comfort to me. Art is a good antidepressant. I worked as a patient advocate in a hospital during COVID, and it was a really sad time. Family members were not allowed to come into the hospital, and there were people suffering and dying, and those of us working in the hospital were trying to provide that support, but we're not family. It was very hard. If I didn't have my art to come home and engage in, I really don't know how I would have made it through that time. So for me, art is powerful. Friendship, connection with others. Kathy mentioned reaching out. So reaching out for support to people that you can count on to provide that positive support. And by the way, support doesn't have to include words. Support can just be somebody sitting with you. Just their presence feels supportive to you. Okay. A therapist. So I've worked as a therapist for half of forever, and therapy is something that I'm a big believer in. So therapy can be a powerful way of addressing depression. Okay. Helping others, reaching out and helping others is also a really, really good way of lifting ourselves out of that depression. Okay. Some service to others. All right. You guys have so many good suggestions. So remember the plant metaphor? I was paying attention to this plant to make sure that I make adjustments when I need to. So in our self-care, we pay attention. What's working? What's not working? Keep track of it, maybe in a journal. Okay. We might notice certain foods are making us feel yucky. We should make an adjustment. Certain people are making us feel yucky. We make an adjustment. Certain people are making us feel better, good, inspired, motivated. We want to make sure to repeat that. So whatever's working, we want to repeat that. So you have to pause and pay attention. How is our self-care? How effective is it? And make adjustments. And then set some little goals. So one of my goals in my self-care is to go to bed on time. Okay, this is a challenge for me. It is a challenge. I'm going to be honest. I'm not really very responsible sometimes on that aspect of self-care. So that is a goal for me. I'm working on that, is to get to bed earlier, because as we talked about, not getting enough sleep affects kind of everything. So I would be highly rewarded for my effort of going to bed earlier if I were to be successful. Does anybody after our talking today have any goals or thoughts on an aspect of your self-care that you would like to work on or improve?
I would like to have, I have one. Stop waking up at 3 o'clock. First, my name is Kenneth, and I would love to not have to wake up every day at 3 o'clock, no, and not go back to sleep.
Thank you.
This is Ruth Tompkins. He said he would like to get rid of the strike and work on that.
Hi, everybody, this is Corinne. Actually, Rhonda and I talked to her at break. What a great idea for the people that are so negative in our life, to let them know, hey, for every negative thing you say, give me a positive. It's a great, great thing. The other thing that I was talking about, the barriers, try to just do it for yourself. Like, do something for yourself and not to please somebody else. Because that's pretty hard. You never live up to somebody's expectations, but you can help yourself.
So having realistic expectations is a very important. Okay, the word perfect, you might as well remove it from your vocabulary because it really doesn't apply to anything. And it definitely shouldn't be, you shouldn't try to apply it to yourself, okay? So having realistic expectations reduces our stress, helps us feel more satisfied and more accomplished. So that is really important, is to think about, am I setting realistic expectations for myself? All right, now we all know what acts of kindness are. We can and do acts of kindness for others. How often do we do acts of kindness for ourselves? And I'm going to give you an example, and this can be a very, very small thing, but guess what? Doing a small act of kindness for yourself really matters. Because why? It shows you that you matter to you. Like, you want to matter to your friends, you want to matter to your family. I want you to matter to yourself, okay? I want you to feel like I matter to me. So I'm going to give you an example of something I did recently. So one day recently, I was leaving my house and I realized I had left my coat in my car overnight. And so I went out to my car and I got my coat, and it was very cold. The coat was very cold. So it really wasn't going to serve me very well for a while because it was so cold. Now I could have just put the coat on, get in the car and go and complain and feel sorry for myself because I'm freezing cold in my cold coat. All right, but I didn't do that. Okay, I took an extra 45 seconds and took the coat downstairs and put it in the dryer. Right? So that was an act of kindness that I did for myself. I didn't have to do that, but I did do that. And the coat was comfortable and I went on my way, and I really paused to appreciate that. Thanks Trisha for doing that for me. I really appreciate that. So we can do acts of kindness for ourselves. Go figure.
I was listening to this Kathy Radigan. There is a singer, her name is Karen Drucker, and she sings a lot of beautiful songs and kind songs that are uplifting for yourself. And there was one that I was listening to, is something that said, look in the mirror and look at how amazing you are. Look at that, that person smiling. And she was trying to point out how, love yourself. And just looking in the mirror, looking at how amazing you are and where you've been to, and smile at yourself. It's kind of a neat song. It's by Karen Drucker.
Thank you, Kathy. So that is an example of an act of kindness. So I really want to add to that there are things that we could genuinely and honestly appreciate about ourselves. But do we take a pause and do that? No, not too much. And so, what's that about? We can take a pause more frequently and appreciate something about ourselves. Right? Like, you got here today, appreciate that, appreciate your effort to get here and connect with others. There's always something that we can appreciate about ourselves, and we certainly take the pauses to be hard on ourselves. Okay, so you know how more than once there's been a comment about for every negative there needs to be 1 or 2 positives. So for every negative that you say or think about yourself, how about you put in 2 positives? All right, that might be a goal, might be a goal, right? That could be acts of kindness for yourself. And it could really have a positive impact on your motivation. It certainly isn't going to hurt to try, right? All right. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up by telling you that, like I said earlier, I work for an agency called Well Home. It provides in-home care, and it's just a St. Louis company. It's family owned. It's been around for 25 years. Provides in-home care for people, and I really like the people that I work for. It's not top heavy. There's only like 4 people, administrators, and we have good people that are out there in the community helping care for people. So part of being smart in our self-care is knowing when we need help and asking for help. It's good. It's part of being independent. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of a paradox. Is that being successful and being independent includes knowing when to ask for help and accepting help. All right, does anybody have any comments or questions? Yes, I have brochures. So if anybody wants a brochure, I have a lot of them. Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Brett. First of all, Tricia, thank you for this presentation. My question concerns negativity. So how can we help someone, whether it be ourselves or a friend, who is being brought down by negative comments from others?
Okay, how do we help a friend who is being brought down by negative comments from others? Okay, so this means, and I have brochures, raise your hand if you want one. So, Brett, I would recommend that tell your friend that if, you're welcome. Here you go. I'm putting that right here in front of you, right here. Okay. Anybody else want a brochure? Okay. Brett, I would recommend that you tell your friend that you, oh, okay. To tell your friend that you appreciate that they that your friend is a positive person, and you encourage them to be around positive people, and that usually positivity attracts positivity, and that when we have negative people in our life, we try to send them compassion, because something's going on. If someone's being negative, there's something going on with that person. So we kind of quietly, silently send them our compassion, and we encourage, Brett, I would encourage your friend to redirect the conversation when this other person is being negative. Redirect the conversation to something that they feel positive or grateful for, and they can ask this other person what they are feeling grateful for. That's my suggestion. Any other questions or comments?
This is Michelle. I have a comment that tags onto that. Other people's opinion of me are none of my business. Mm-hmm. I reject that. Like that, there's a practice. I reject that.
I heard my name.
Not that I'm not capable of learning or growing, but it's not said. We should probably give her that microphone again. Oh. So this is Michelle again. I was talking off the side and somebody said I should tell that to everybody, so here I am. When I say other people's opinion is none of my business, it doesn't mean that I'm not willing to be open and grow as an individual. But when I say like I reject that is when people are being negative without being constructive. If people are being constructive, I'm always willing to be open and grow as a person and an individual. I'm going to take it in. I'm going to analyze it. Is this something I can work on? Is this something that I want to put on my priority list to work on? Right? But if people are just being negative and, oh, you're doing a lousy job and you're awful and you're whatever, and there's no constructive information there, I reject it.
Okay, and I'm gonna tag team off of that. Now, I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound very radical. Don't take anything personally. Okay, now that sounds pretty radical because, you know, if someone gives you a compliment, of course you want to take that personally, right? But guess what? If someone is giving you a compliment, that's their opinion based on their experiences. Okay? Just like if someone is being critical of you, that's their opinion based on their experiences, which are, you know, likely decades long and very complicated. So where somebody is coming from, we have no idea. We have literally no idea. You know, we might have a teeny tiny view of the tippy top of the iceberg, okay? But there's a lot we don't know about other people. So we don't know where they're coming from. So it doesn't really make sense to take things personally because where somebody is coming from is their stuff. Okay, we can give people feedback and say, you know, when you're talking that way with that tone of voice, I am feeling like I don't want to be in a conversation with you. So you can set boundaries and you can give people feedback using I statements. However, taking that personally and being hurt and being upset is not required, okay? Any other questions or comments or feedback for me?
This is, you know, some people you just can't change. My dad is kind of a control freak, and you know, I've seen I do think it's psychologist for some anxiety and depression issues, and I've gotten a lot better at it. I recognize my anxiety, and I understand that's why I like trying to control things under control. My dad, I learned that my dad has anxiety, but he won't do anything about it. So I've learned to recognize that and just kind of roll it off of it.
That's a great example, Jeff, that because you're understanding that your dad has anxiety, it helps you not take his comments personally. That's a great example.
This is Harry Castro. And unfortunately, I'm sure everybody in this room has that expression that blind people are stupid. And a lot of people will sit there and, you know, they may not say that to you, but they think that. They think that you're stupid because you can't see. So you let that bother you, you come back and tell them, well, if you want to see stupid, go look in the mirror because it's not here. But I mean, that's the way people think today about a lot of people. Trust me, I work at the lighthouse, and I mean, I'll see managers and supervisors come up to me and I'll say something to them, and they just think, oh, what do you know? You know, you're blind. What do you know? Well, I must know a lot more than you because I just told you what the problem was. So, and then that's something that we have to deal with. I don't let it bother me. I just figure, that's what people think. That's their own opinion. And if you like she said, everybody has an opinion. And it doesn't matter whether you can see or not. That's all that matters.
Okay, so that's another good example of not taking something personally. It does remind me to tell you guys something. Part of our self-care is going to the doctor, and the doctor doesn't always listen to patients very well. Okay, and if they think you're stupid and that you don't know what you're talking about because you're blind or because your skin is purple, green, or orange or whatever their perspective is, that's not acceptable. So you need a different doctor. You need to be your own advocate. You need to ask questions and question your doctor. And if that dynamic isn't a positive one, that's another one that's might be toxic that you need to make a decision about. But you need to advocate for yourself, for your health, with your healthcare providers. Okay, well, I think that's about it. Thank you for having me. I have really appreciated it. You guys' participation has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, Tricia, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. I think this was a presentation we all benefited from a lot. So just thank you very, very much.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so I said we have several announcements actually that we want to make sure we give you, but we have time. So the first one, I know a lot of you have had various questions about. I finally have some answers. That concerns the capital trip. I know many of you were aware that we had to cancel the first capital trip. I did not explain why in the email. Essentially what happened, from what I've been told, is that the House bill was not completely ready yet. That apparently has been resolved now, and we will be going bright and early on March 6th, which is a Thursday. So, okay, where are you going? Huh?
She's stepping out.
Who is that?
Dr. Miller.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Miller's leaving.
All right.
Brett, do we know the House bill number?
We don't know that yet. That is the one piece of it. Oh, is it dead?
Already.
Let's try again. There you go.
Okay. So the one piece of information we do not have is the House bill number. We're still waiting on that. I know Mary has been asking Becky Davis about that. So what is the purpose of the trip? The purpose of the trip, I just want to make sure everyone knows what we're doing and what we're not doing. We're not going to be giving like testimony or anything like that. So that will come later. This one, and this is why there's a lot of walking involved. During this one, we're going to be going from room to room, legislator's office to legislator's office, giving them kind of a letter that has been written up about the program, kind of giving them an overview of it. And then they will get to obviously see and interact with us using an SSP. If you want to go on the 6th, we will need to meet. We're looking into the possibility of renting a van. I don't know where we stand on that yet, but you will want to leave though I know we will meet at 6 because we have to be there at 9 sharp and we finish at noon. So 9 to noon on the 6th is the capital trip. If you want to go, you need to send an email to both, and you need to include Mary, include myself as well. Include both of us in the email letting us know you're going to go.
And meet here at 6.
I don't know, possibly. I don't know those details though yet, so I will just have to keep everyone posted on that.
Okay.
Just so everyone is aware, there's a committee that's been working on this, and that has Becky Davis at MCDHH, Mary, Lydia, Chip Haley from the Missouri Council of the Blind, and Sheila Wright, who is president of the National Federation of the Blind of Missouri. They've been working on this, on a lot of the legislative stuff in this project. We will need SSPs, and even if you're not a trained SSP yet, and you're thinking to yourself, I want to be able to drive people, we very likely will need your help. So if you're interested, contact Mary and I. Also, if you're a consumer, I know it's tough. It's tough to get up early. It's tough to go to do, 4 hours of driving and then all this walking. But I know we all benefit from this program. So the only way we're going to be able to sustain and increase the funding of this program is if we show up. If we show up in big numbers and bring this to the attention of our legislators. So I know it's tempting to sit this out. Please consider going. Okay, that is the capital trip. Another thing we need to discuss concerns email. So the board met recently. We had some concerns over there does seem to be some people who are not checking their email on a regular basis and are not receiving SASI emails about events on time. Namely, we had a field trip not that long ago where some people thought they were signed up, but they had never gotten the email or followed the instructions in it just to make sure they were signed up. And as a result, we came close to having people miss out on that opportunity. We were able to salvage it, but I can't promise that that's going to be able to happen every time. I know some of you in this room have asked for a Busch Stadium trip for a special box at the Cardinals game, which we're working on. That is going to require payment, and there's going to be hard deadlines on that trip. And if you are not checking your email or making sure that you're receiving info from SASI in another way, you're going to miss out. So what if either you can't check your email on the regular or you just don't want to? Well, in our elections that we've had, I've elected 3 members at large, those being Lydia, Erica, and Robert. One of their duties as members at large is to reach out to members about information or to get feedback. I have asked them to keep a call list. This is for those of you who don't want, and I'm not going to drop you from the mailing list. Like if you still think you want the emails from time to time, I'll keep you on the list. But if you want to know about things like upcoming SASI meetings, field trips, or other news like this capital trip, what we would like to do is to put people on a phone call list. And what will happen is one of those 3 members at large will call, or they can also text you. They will call and or text you, letting you know what's going on. And the last thing I'll say on this is we need you to be honest. If you obviously, this is still not going to work if you also don't check your voicemail or answer your phone. So you will need to be honest about the communication method you want. But is there anyone who would like to have a phone call as opposed to an email? If there is, raise your hand. We can make sure you're on that list.
Do you want me to text you?
Yes. So,
yes,
The coach had just joined the meeting via Zoom.
who is it?
The cook.
And our cook.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Willard, Harry. Willard, you can put your hand down. Kenneth.
Linda wants to be added to the list.
Linda Kinkler.
Linda
Okay.
Kinkler, yes.
Thank you.
Or, well, let's see, her hand is raised,
Christy. Christy, sorry about that.
Can you unmute Linda Kinkler so she can?
Kathy.
I just unmuted myself.
Okay.
Linda, is that what you were raising your hand for?
Yes, I want to be on that for text messages, etc.
Thank you.
Did you get everyone?
I did.
Okay, looks like we got everyone. So we will divide this list up between the 3 members at large. And yes. All right. Another thing I wanted to make everyone aware of is that SASI is now on YouTube. So we've gotten some feedback that the OneDrive method is not super accessible to those who are either deaf or otherwise can't hear the spoken audio from our recordings. So we were on a few years ago, but we have gone back onto YouTube. That's where we will post meeting recordings going forward. We have a pretty extensive archive. We have every meeting we've ever had, essentially, from 2020 onwards recorded. So I will be in the process of uploading all of that. We'll start with the new stuff, obviously, we'll get our priority, but the old stuff will also be there for historical purposes. No, I can't. Well, give me just a second. Oh, that's not the only thing I'm hoping we can do some other things with the channel, maybe take some video. Obviously, if members are willing to be videoed at field trips and some other things that we can show the community. So the channel handle is SASI DB09. So if you want to subscribe, you can do that. And if you want to know every time something is uploaded, just turn on your notification things or whatever.
I'm sorry, Jeff, can you repeat that? Brett, could you repeat that again, please?
So it is SASI, SASI DB, so Delta Bravo 09.
Can you send that an email?
Yes.
Can you repeat the question?
And Balaji asked if we can send out an email with the information, which we will. Also, Ken has been working on something for us. He has been trying to secure a CPR class for anyone who is interested. So I would love to know, get a show of hands for who would be interested in attending that, if we can put that together.
When is that? Names or number?
Names.
Okay. And Balaji asked, when is it ready?
We don't know yet, but we just need to gauge interest.
Okay, I've got Erica, You can put your hand down.
No, you had my name here.
And we already have, if we're making a list, Robert, Vaughn, and, his
This is
wife.
Victoria. Will the CPR class be here? Where's it?
Probably.
That's what I'm hoping. Hey, Terry North, his significant other.
Came on request.
And man, Ruth.
Michelle, I got you.
Linda Kinkler, is your hand still raised from before? And it's being participated in CPR class.
Tim, I got you. Kathy, you run a camp? Got you.
You got my name. She's right now. No, she'll let you know. She's got you.
And Miss Linda Taylor.
Linda Kinkler's hand is raised, but I'm not sure if it's still raised from before when she added to the please text.
Oh, it's not.
She already took it down.
Okay.
Took it down.
Michelle, I just lowered my hand. I did not realize I had to lower it. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
I should have known that. All right. I think I got it.
Okay. So that sounds good. And thank you to Ken for working on that for us as well.
I'm working with them. So we're gonna try to get it together, but what's the number you guys came up with?
Hang on, I just texted it to Brett. Let me get back there. 15.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Did you get my name?
I did not get you.
16.
Got it.
Come on now, we gotta get up to 20. No, they didn't care what, they just needed a number. Kind of base it on. You gonna do it? 5 days.
Julia.
Got it. Anybody else? Okay.
And to anyone who's listening maybe to the recording, who's not here, that would like to be interested, just drop me an email or text or call. Okay. Last thing, actually two things, sorry. What was the other one? Oh, so I want to tell you, in March, we're going to have Ashley Foley. She is the deaf-blind director at Missouri School for the Blind. She's going to talk to us about Missouri School for the Blind. She's going to talk to us about what they do for deaf-blind students and their families. She's also going to kind of give us some suggestions and things we may be able to do to increase our younger membership. She's also going to encourage those of us who are interested to attend MSB's picnic to get to meet and serve as mentors for some of those deaf-blind children and teens. April, I think I announced this last month, but I'm not positive. So the third weekend, that's the 20th, or the 19th, one of those 2 days, that's Easter weekend. So we won't meet that weekend. We won't have a regular SASI meeting, but on Saturday, April 26th, we will have a special workshop open to any deafblind person in the state of Missouri, so both in person and virtual. Michelle is putting together a presentation for that, so we really appreciate her doing that. It's going to be all about scams with a special emphasis on AI-based scams. because they are they're getting incredibly sophisticated and clever. What can we do to avoid them? And to try to recognize them. So I'll talk about that. And that again is Saturday, April 26th here at the Society. Last thing is trivia. I just want to remind everyone that the trivia night is at the Richmond Heights Community Center, same place as before, on March 22nd. I will say our ticket sales have been quite low so far. So if I encourage you, get some friends, get some family. Obviously, we know SSP services are back now, so get those ticket orders in, because as a reminder, the first week of March, the price is going to go up. It will become $25 a person instead of $20. I think we sold pick a numbers during the break. I'm sure some of those are still available. We do need more when it comes to door prizes. I know some of you have been working, and we very much thank you for it. We have more donation letters here, and they have the correct contact information in them this time. So if you got one at the January meeting, pick some new ones up so you have the correct info. Now, if by some chance maybe you're not having success getting donations, or maybe you're not comfortable asking for donations, you have a couple of other options you can do. You can purchase gift cards and give them to us, or you may, you can also, if you would rather, just donate cash for us to use on gift cards. Just make sure that we know that that's what it is indeed for. You'll have a chance to give donations at the March meeting. You can mail them to the PO box. And you can, I mean, I'm obviously around at other things. You can give them to me there too. So yeah, that's where we stand on the trivia. And for those of you using pick a numbers or selling numbers, because I know some of you have got your friends and family to purchase numbers, which we really, really appreciate. We need to make sure that if you're using PayPal, that you're saying in the note what numbers you want. Because we've had some people send payments to us and not include which numbers they wanted. Unfortunately, PayPal does not make it easy for us to contact them and ask what they would like. So, yeah, and I will send to the membership to a list of what is available with regarding numbers. Okay. Sorry, did we get a?
How much are the numbers?
And then the numbers are $20 a number. And as a reminder, you do not have to be present to win. And the prizes are, I know first prize gets $500. And then it goes, there's 5 prizes. It goes all the way from 500 to the 5th place winner getting 25. Jeff, you had a. Okay.
This is Jeff.
I'm taking your 20 out. Yeah, over there. You know those stuff like that? I just don't.
This is Jeff. I want to make sure everybody knows the post office number, the address. So the address to make it's SASI. The address is 2800 Marshall Avenue, P.O. Box 434-024, St. Louis, 63143. Just so everybody knows that we have a new mailbox established, so that's what I wanted to say.
You can, and that's gonna be in our updated email, right? Right.
Sorry?
That'll be in that email, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Brian, what kind of gift cards do we need?
I mean, it can literally be anything. I mean, it can be, I mean, obviously restaurant or store. I'm sorry, Ken asked what kind of gift cards. So I mean, it can literally be anything, restaurants, stores, shops. I mean, it can also be for like a service. So for example, I'm reaching out to my computer technician to see if they'll give us a certificate for anyone who might need a computer repair, for example. Things like cardinals. So we also have raffle baskets, and at this time we're going to have, I believe, 3 baskets available to auction. So we'll have a silent auction. Those being a snack basket, very generously donated by the society, which also has a $150 gift certificate to the society store, by the way. As well as about $100 worth of gourmet snacks. So we're working on a self-love basket, which will have 2 massage certificates, plus various oils, perhaps a candle or something else as well that we'll throw in. And then we're working on a wine basket. There's some other stuff we would like to have, but we will need some donations to make it happen. We'd love to have, say, for example, a sports basket, maybe some amusement park or trips, things like that. So any help we can get on that is greatly appreciated. Yes, chocolate. Any other questions on trivia before we?
Brad, this is Karen. The trivia is the 4th weekend, correct? Because we're gonna have a SASI meeting on the 3rd.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, just check.
Yeah, same as last year.
Karen, it's the 22nd of March.
Okay, because there will be a SASI meeting on the 16th.
On the 15th.
15th.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And that 15th will be the last chance for people to pay or donate in person.
Yeah, that'll go up to 25. It'll be the,
No, it's the beginning week of March, isn't it?
I think I have to check the flyer. I think it starts March 9th.
Oh, okay. Wow. The price going up?
Yes.
Chris is checking right now. Chris is checking on the date that the price goes up.
Brett,
Yeah.
this is Bob Jacob. When you mentioned the March 6th trip, who do we let know that we're interested in going on that trip?
Both myself and Mary.
Okay, all right.
March 8th. March 8th, tickets go up.
Yeah.
March 8th.
Okay, yeah, March 8th. If you haven't paid by March 8th, there's a $5 price increase. Also, we're still looking for people willing to bake for the dessert option. So if you like baking, let me know what you'd like to bring. You'll want to portion it for a table. So about 8 servings of whatever you bring. All right. I do want to announce, we will go ahead and do members info. Before we do though, I did want to announce a couple of things. First of all, Kim and Robert were given by an Uber driver several boxes of Pepperidge Farms cookies, if anyone would like some. And also, And on our Valentine's Day, we have Valentine's cupcakes. I'm sorry? They are located in the back of the room at the round table. So if we want to. So are people getting up? Or... Okay, so you're free to get them if you want, or
This is Robert Vaughn. The story on the cookies, the Uber driver's brother was a Pepperidge Farms representative, and he had this whole box of sealed cookies of all kinds. I think there's some muffins in here. So Andrea is going to pass this box around, and if anybody wants a bag of cookies, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to have to take them home. Yeah, that's terrible.
Let them know that Chris is coming around with cupcakes.
And Chris is coming around with cupcakes.
What would you like, Ken? I want the mint chocolate too. And then there's a box over here that is with 7 chocolate varieties. Chocolate collection.
Oh, what is that? Oh, it's an old code. It was October or August of 24. It says it's an old code. Oh, Jesus. It says August of 24. Holy cow. I almost said something that wasn't legal. No wonder it tasted like yeah, I'll put it that way. Yeah. Which is kind of funny because it's got Santa Claus on the can. So you'd think it was, yeah, but on the bottom of it, it says August 12th of 24. Somebody, I'm gonna let them know if that's the thing. Somebody needs to check that. Yeah. Yeah. Can I have your hearing device? Are we finished? Yep. Do the birthdays?
Oh, do you want Kim to do the birthdays, Brett?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, we have birthdays, so I'm gonna pass it to Ken.
I'm gonna announce the birthday. Kim.
Yes, Kim.
Well, when people are quiet, I'm gonna say that until you be quiet.
All right, Brett. Brenda.
All right, wait.
Here's a chocolate cupcake.
Okay.
Chocolate?
Kim, you want a cupcake? Kim, you want a cupcake? Yes, please. Vanilla or chocolate? Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla or chocolate?
I'm feeling better already.
Is the meeting over?
No.
No?
It's a good way to say.
Hey, Robert, we're checking with the Navy.
Okay, then go ahead and make the announcement. Let's do it. Go ahead and make the announcement.
This is Kim. I'm gonna announce the birthdays real quick, please. I'm gonna announce the birthdays real quick, please. This is Kim. Okay, the birthdays for February are Randy and Karen on the 11th, Julia on the 13th, Carl on the 19th, Erica on the 21st, Kim B on the 24th, and Jenny C on the 27th. Thank you. Happy birthday to all.
You want cookies?
Yeah.
We have purple peppermint, mint chocolate, or chocolate orange.
Maybe the mint chocolate.
They thought it was trying to get bad.
Here you go. Okay.
Sorry.
Whoa, there's your cup. I moved it right underneath my
Okay.
hand. Okay.
Okay. Julia?
Yep.
We have a mic.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got like less than 5 minutes left now. We can do very, very quick members info. I'm gonna keep it quick myself. The Wilhelm/Chambers families are still waiting for the arrival of baby Chambers. He's due tomorrow, but also I Can Tech is this Wednesday at 10. Topic for that is apps and services you can use to get visual information when you don't have a sighted person around or just don't want to use them. The 25th, Gab is Pass the Trash. So be there for that. Anyone else have anything very quick they'd like to share?
Are you open for questions now?
We're doing members info.
I have a question.
What's your question, Carl?
This is Rhonda Jones. Please keep Gary in your prayers. He has fallen twice recently, and he has an infected thumb. He didn't come today because he's on a very strong antibiotic, which makes him drowsy. But he said to tell everybody hi.
Carl, you had a question?
And we've got, I think we have a
Okay. Someone's got their hand up.
on Zoom.
On Zoom.
Can I ask a question now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What did you say the due is due on the March 8th?
What about March 8th?
I can't hear you. Too much noise going on. SASI dues are 8th of
When
March.
is SASI dues due?
SASI, so we got a question from Carl on when SASI dues are due. So they need to be paid by April. If they are not, you will not
by April.
be included. Yes, if they're not,
Oh, okay.
be included in the next directory.
So I can still make it for the March meeting. Alrighty, thank you.
Okay.
But the March 8th had to do with.
March 8th is the deadline for $20 trivia tickets. After that, they go up.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments before we wrap? I'm sorry? And dues remain $5. Sorry? Huh? What?
Your mom's saying, remind everybody that you don't have to be an SSP to go on the trip.
The capital?
But.
The capital?
Yeah. Because you said, said, me and Andrew both heard you say, you can be an SSP even though you're not trained on that day.
That
That's
means
not
if
true.
someone wants to drive, that's not an SSP, they still can't.
Okay, well, clarify that.
So I just want to clarify this thing on the capital trip. So if you have a sighted person, you know someone, or you are someone who's not trained as an SSP, so you're not working for Deaf Inc. for the SSP program, but you're willing to help us on the capital trip, we very much would appreciate your help, or for those of you who may know someone, reaching out to them, because we would like for each person on the trip to have someone who can guide them individually, as opposed to groups. So please contact both Mary and I on that. I don't think there's anything else, and it is just now 12:30. So, as always, thank you to our amazing volunteers, SSPs. Thank you to our student interpreters for all their work, and thanks to everyone for being here. Again, I hope to see a lot of you at ICANN Tech on Wednesday. Next SASI meeting is March 15th, so let's have a great month.
Cook still has his hand up on Zoom, and I think Christy wants to chat with you.
Okay.
Cook family, do you have anything else to say? Or did we answer your question earlier?
Carl, just say Carl.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Carl.
I thought I heard something about the Capitol visit. And has that been moved to another date?
March 6th.
Say again?
March 6th.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So his hand is down. All right, and Christy. Do you have Christy's information since she's a new member?
I think you've sent me some emails. Do you have you paid your $5 dues? Okay.
And I didn't know I got on the text list instead of or I guess both or something.
Yes.
My phone number, so
yes.
Somebody could text me the information.
Okay, can you text me your number?
I don't have your number.
I can give it to you.
She does not have her phone in her hand.
Okay.
Is it okay if I'm an intermediary and can text her your number? Or text you her number?
Yes.
Okay. This is
Freeman.
Got it. And phone number?
479-899-2900.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I prefer text over phone calls for that list thing,
Now, Christy, I do believe you had sent me an email saying you were interested in preparing a dessert for the auction.
Yes.
Okay, which one is that?
Might do 2 different things. Limoncello cake and limoncello. It's alcohol. That's like it bakes out all right. And some vanilla cupcakes. They got like natural vanilla beans like down there, so they're like very vanilla.
Yeah, great. So, well, we appreciate you doing that.
You're welcome. And I'm probably gonna see about going on this Capitol trip so I can like help people on the trip.
Okay.
I'll make sure I can. I'm going on a trip to Arkansas and Oklahoma, so I'll be back just in time.
Okay.
With all that.
We're in Oklahoma.
I grew up in County, so I'm gonna go to Tulsa to visit with my brother.
I'm from Tulsa.
Oh, you are. I'm gonna bring really Bixby. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then
this is gonna be weird. Do they go to church in Bixby?
Thank you. I think my brother does.
Do you happen to know
Life Church?
A Life Church? Okay.
I think that's where he goes.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about my friends that are like my godparents.
Yeah.
There. I'm bringing them to the baby shower.
Yeah.
I shower in Arkansas.
Grew up at a church in Bixby, so that's why I was asking. I know Life Church though, so
yeah. They do music over there.
Yeah.
Cool. And stuff. Yeah. Go visit my daughter in Arkansas. We're gonna have a baby shower, so that'll be fun.
Okay, I'm gonna take these microphones away.
Okay.
Then it looks like everybody's off of Zoom.
Okay. Did we collect listening devices?
We did. There were only 2 that were out. They've already come back in.
Another guy.
Brett, it looks like everything's good on this side, so we just need to put your bag away.
Okay.
Michelle is asking me if I can help her with her glasses. Do you mind if I step away for a minute?
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
It's good right now. It's good right.
I'm glad you have one. Yeah, well, you kept everybody see what they. Well, kept everybody. Right.
Now you can throw it back.
So here's the thing. Tired driving is as bad as drunk driving.
Go straight out. Hopefully they'll come earlier next time. Yeah, I got, they got here, she's like, I got a. Okay, okay. Bye, Bob. Bye. She's on the board. She's on the board, so she'd be a good person to help. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I did. I'm so sorry about that. You were good. No idea. They were. Oh, yeah. Well, from like 10 to 5.
That's what I do. But tonight.
You didn't figure it out yet.
This is literally what I like did, because I used to look at my granddaughters. Yeah. They, so I don't know.
It's 43 degrees outside.
She's always, you guys work, you got me.
I had deodorant with me, like, you're asking what was in my that was in my car. I had, granola bars, like, protein drinks that I could drink when I felt like if I was gonna be at a hospital, I had nutritional things, it was like, those are things that, so. I reload your data from those items. I will tell you, I was in an X-ray and the table grabbed my hands and ripped them wide open. And gave me scrubs that I was able to swallow, but.
Okay, sir. I'm ready when you're ready. Right in the lobby. Brett's still here. Over here. Brett?
Yeah.
Over here, please.
Huh?
Jeff wants to talk to you.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. This is right.
Yes, and of those two, if I find something good at this one, I'm not gonna find anything at this one. Or if I find something at this one, I'm not gonna find it. So if you don't even. That cost you. Yeah. Jake.
I did that.
Yeah, if that's a little more responsive on
Okay, now. All right, I'm ready. When you have it all close together like that, wait till you get a little bit
All the things that they have regular, and they're real pockets. I have like. Real pockets, with real.
Well, thanks for everything you did for this month's meeting.
like the other 5 years from the.
So when much smoother down there.
So when you buy for work, and you're saying, I'm never gonna wear these for anything.
This is Melanie from Florida. I went to school with 9th grade. Oh, really? Yeah. And this is Keisha, right?
Whatever you're looking for. You're a lawyer, and this is not for me. So this is right off of me, because this is what's required for that job. As long as you're not wearing it to get something, you're good. So you have to, like, you have to, that's. You're not. There's a song. Yeah. Take him here. Okay.
Yeah. I got your headset. You ready? You need the bathroom before we go? Come on out. Let's do it.
You'll go back to where your stuff is.
I'm gonna take you around this way.
This one comes in 3 different. I work all
Check this out. There's one table.
Yeah.
And there's, you almost have to step aside. Yeah.
You guys do. Oh, you're gonna be, and you know. Right. That will be the percent. This one is 57. Okay, yeah, that's what I brought, because I was like, I've got different sizes.
Yeah.
They look the same. I mean, look. They look PhD 6. Do you work? Oh, this is one that didn't have any work.
Yeah.
Get this, get that. You work because I got this here. So that might be exact. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to crawl through this. I did it again.
Hey, Eric.
What's
With you?
No.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
You're good.
These are, yes. So those are the things. Still running like, oh, 3 weeks later, I come in and this is metal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Windows 10 desktop. Folder.
Oh my God, that's really no, you are. Okay.